G'day, Ben from Melbourne here, and today I'm going to attempt the thread for Connect 20, which I initially wasn't going to do because it seemed like a lot of stuffing around to think of all of the connections to get from one album to the 20th. But then I saw the great John D on Down Under Tunage do his entry, and to my surprise, he managed to connect one of my bands, Push Button Auto, unbelievably to Cliff Williams from AC/DC, and then on to Chris Bailey, originally from the Saints, which was pretty hilarious and pretty cool thing to do. So I thought I'll have a go with this and see how we go. I think it was originally Dylan Noble started this, I think. But yeah, some funny stuff going around there and some bloody crazy connections, which are a lot better than my dubious attempts that I'm going to have a crack at. But yeah, it was pretty cool what John did. And, not that I'm a self-promoter, but there has been people in the VC crying out for product for the post Push Button Auto project. Some have dubbed Neo PBA. I think that was Mike PC31. At the moment, the only product we've got is a limited edition of 4 of these lovely t-shirts. That's right, move the beard. We're called the Sunbeats. And for having only played one gig, I'm pretty happy that we've already got t-shirts. Anyway, just one more thing before we get into this. Received in the mail this lovely postcard. Yeah, I thought the same thing when I read the first couple of words there. But these hot singles who are looking for turntables in my area is none other than the great MGK Boston. That's right, via Canada, Mike in Boston. Great channel, great man. And I think this might be a very unsubtle hint, because I know the man has a fetish for the postcard for me to send a few from Australia, which I better get onto pronto, because I want to stay in the great man's good books. So, apparently this was from an old record store, which was one of his favourites, called In Your Ear, I think. Sadly closed down now, but yeah, I like it. Hot singles in your area are looking for turntables. All right, let's get into it. Now, hopefully I've done this right. So my first record I'm going to show for the connections, of course it's all Australian, but you all know that. The mighty Easybeats. That's right. This is a cracker. This is their first record. This one is, I think this has got She's So Fine. That's right. Was the big hit off this one. But anyway, the first connection we're talking about, this man here, little Stevie Wright, the human dynamo. Great voice, great singer, wild man. Sad ending, unfortunately. Well, anyway, he went on from the Easybeats to release a couple of solo records. This great album called Hard Road. There he is on the front, looking a little bit worse for wear. And the big hit on this was the 3-parter called Evie, which covers the whole gamut. Hard rock, ballad, even a bit of a disco beat in there as well. Believe it or not, it was a huge hit in Australia, and it's like a 8-minute song or something. But obviously there were some edited down versions. But anyway, moving on from this, none other than one Malcolm Young played guitar on Evie. He of AC/DC fame, of course. And where is he? There he is on the back, picking his nose or something. And contained on this album is one of my favourites, Ride On. And the connection is, of course, the Beast. Whoa. Every time I pull this out, I always forget about that little promo sheet that comes with it. And the Beasts, of course, do a cracking cover of Ride On this record. Yeah, I think 1990 or 91, killer record. This is like post the Boris Sujovic, James Baker rhythm section, and they now had Tony Polar and Brian Hooper alongside the boys. Killer hard rock, swampy blues record with a bit of that country punk as well. Great cover, Ride On. Next, of course, the two guitarists in B Suburban, the great Spencer P. Jones and Kim Salmon, and here they are together with their record Runaways. What a great pairing they were with Spencer's bloody sleazy Stones informed rock and roll, all of the awesome rock history in his guitar alongside of Kim Salmon's skronky slide punk stylings. Great stuff. Everything these guys touch is brilliant. So, obviously, Kim Salmon was also in The Scientists, but he also formed his own band called Kim Salmon and the Surrealists. This one does also feature Tony Polar on drums and Brian Hooper on bass from the B Suburban. And my connection here is that Brian Hooper played on the great Roland S. Howard solo record, Teenage Snuff Film from 1999. There he is there. Mick Harvey, who played drums. Killer record. And of course, Roland S. Howard was the guitarist for the Boys Next Door and The Birthday Party. And this great little 12-inch mini LP was produced, well, not produced, engineered, I'd say, more than produced, by the great late Tony Cohen, who's engineered many classic Australian records from the 80s, done a ton of Nick Cave ones, but you may not know, he also engineered the first Go-Betweens record. That's right. Send Me a Lullaby. Fantastic record. Probably gets overlooked a little bit by the sophomore record, but yeah, Send Me a Lullaby is a killer. And the connection with this, Robert Forster had a son called Lewis Forster, that's him there, who formed the great band The Goonsacks. They're now broken up. They released 3 great off-kilter pop records. It's hard not to compare them to the Go-Betweens, but great band. And, well, this is where the man whose fingers are in every pie, Mikey Young, of course, mastered this record. He, of the guitaring action of Eddie Current, Suppression Ring, and a swag of other bands. And the first Eddie Current, Suppression Ring record was released on Art Records, which is the same label that gave us the mighty Oz Mutants. This is a killer record, Band of the Future. And Art Mutants not only featured Jake, who went on and formed Alien Nosejob, who released a killer record earlier this year. Some might say it's almost like an AC/DC cover record, but it's more punkish, it's good. But it also had the Oz Mutants, the great Billy Gardner, who was in a ton of brilliant bands himself, like Living Eyes and Frowning Clouds, but he's also the guy who started Anti-Fade Records, which featured the mighty Melbourne punkers Civic. And this is their 12-inch EP debut. Killer stuff on Anti-Fade, as I said. And their newest record, whoa, check this bad boy out, Taken by Force, was produced by none other than Radio Birdman's frontman, Rob Younger, the Birdman. So, from here, we're going to connect Radio Birdman and the Saints, because I was pretty sure they'd played a bit back in the day. So I had a look and I found this old poster of Radio Birdman on Friday night and the Saints on Saturday night at the Funhouse. That would have been a good double header to go check out. But it gets better, kids. at the Paddington Town Hall, or as the Paddo Town Hall they call it here, together on the 3rd of April. Radio Birdman and the Saints together with the world famous Hotspurs. I don't know who they are. Yeah, and you could get yourself in there for the grand sum of $2.50, which is probably in overseas money. Like, they pay you to get in because our dollar's worth nothing. Right, so of course, yes, Radio Birdman linked to the Saints. And then from the Saints, we go to Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. So, what's the link? Famous photo. See that guy, Chris Bailey, lead singer of the Saints, probably drunk off his ass and sweaty after some punkin' good times. Well, there's a big, tall, geeky bloke there going, what the friggin' hell is going on? That's amazing. And that's Nick Cave at the show. Great photo. So, from Saints to Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, which this one was the first to feature bass player Martin P. Casey, who was formerly of the great Triffids. What an album, Born Sandy Devotional. If you haven't heard of these guys, check this out. And if you like Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds and what they do, you'll love this. Probably not as dark as what Nick Cave was doing at the time, but brilliant songwriter David McComb. Getting sidetracked. So next link is this bad boy was on the Hot Records label, which Ed Cooper was on the same label, Hot Records. And on this record, the Coop, as I like to call him, does a cover of AC/DC's Highway to Hell. AC/DC, of course, featured Angus and Malcolm Young, whose older brother George was in the Easy Beats. Back to the Start. I don't know if I did that right, but I liked how John D looped it round back to the start. Tell me what you think and how many things I got wrong. See you in the next one.